Welcome to another deep dive, everybody,
Yes, welcome back.
where we, as always, try to take a big pile of information and
Yeah.
break it down into the stuff that you really need to know.
Exactly.
And today we're going to be looking at this fascinating idea of the healthcare consumer
Yes.
as the owner of their own care.
Yes, so we've been diving deep into a document
Okay.
by Hans van de Velde,
All right.
fresh off the press, March 28th, 2025.
Wow. So this is like
Brand new.
hot off the presses.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Titled De Zorgconsument als Eigenaar,
Uh-huh.
which translates to the healthcare consumer as owner.
Okay. Very interesting.
And you know, this Hans van de Velde,
Yeah.
he's got this really interesting perspective he comes to the table with.
I was going to say this guy's background is fascinating
Yeah.
because he's not just, someone writing this from an academic standpoint.
No.
He's got a ton of lived experience.
Yeah, he's navigated the world with dyslexia and ADHD, but
Yeah.
also being highly gifted.
So he's seen both sides of that coin.
Absolutely. And on top of that,
Yeah.
he's also an entrepreneur. He's a legal expert,
Right.
a coach in complex situations,
Wow.
and really deeply involved with patient advocacy groups like
good.
Impulse and Warp Blind and the Landelijk ADHD platform.
So he's coming at this from all angles.
Yeah, he's really seen the healthcare system from
No.
all sides.
So basically our mission in this deep dive is to really understand
Exactly.
his vision
Yeah.
for what it would look like for patients to be empowered.
Yeah.
And what that should mean for how you experience healthcare.
Absolutely, because I think, a lot of people listening
Yeah.
can probably relate to feeling a bit lost or overwhelmed in the system.
Oh, absolutely. Like you're just
Yeah.
at the mercy of whatever's happening.
Exactly. And what's really interesting is that Van de Velde's thinking
Okay.
really starts with his own personal journey.
Okay.
So around 2015,
That-
he realized that just feeling frustrated by his ADHD and dyslexia,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't productive, it wasn't helpful.
Right. It wasn't getting him anywhere.
Exactly. He needed to move into a position
I
of
know.
actively taking control.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
How did he go from that feeling of frustration to actually taking control?
So he actually describes a 3-step process
Ooh.
that he calls vertog beïnvloeden, or
Okay.
influencing discourse.
Okay.
So the first step was reframing ADHD and dyslexia,
Yeah.
not as limitations, but as a set of properties.
Okay, I see. So not looking at them as negatives,
Exactly.
but almost like neutral characteristics.
Precisely. And the second step,
Yeah.
and this is really key for you listening,
Okay.
was recognizing himself and others
Yeah.
as the owners of these properties.
Okay, so it's like you own this part of yourself.
Exactly. It's like you have agency over it.
Okay.
And then the third step
Yeah.
was forming a Vereniging van Eigenaars.
Which I don't speak Dutch.
Yeah, so that's basically like a homeowners association.
Okay, I gotcha.
But in this case, it's for people with ADHD and dyslexia.
Right, so they're coming together to kind of have a collective voice.
Exactly. They're coming together to advocate for their needs.
So the main takeaway here is that
Yeah.
he believes the first step in taking control
Mm.
is to kind of reframe how you view these health challenges.
Absolutely.
You're not limited by them, but you can actually own them and manage them.
They're not just, in a passive way,
Right,
but
yeah.
really in a proactive way.
I like that. Okay.
And, this wasn't just a theoretical exercise for him.
Right.
He actually took action. He brought scientists on board
Oh.
and established the INW platform ADHD.
And so the big change here is in how you see
Yes.
yourself in relation to the healthcare system.
Exactly.
You're not just this passive patient.
No.
You're coming in as saying like, no, I'm the owner here.
Precisely.
I'm commissioning scientists. These providers are working for me.
You're the one calling the shots.
Yeah.
You're the one setting the agenda.
Okay, so that leads us to like the central idea
Yes.
in Van de Velde's document. And that's this idea of G-personaliseerde algemene inkoopvoorwaarden,
Yeah.
or GAI.
GAI. Yeah, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, with a lot.
But basically, you can think of it as personalized general terms and conditions,
Okay.
like a personalized agreement you'd have with your healthcare provider.
So just like any other service I use.
Exactly like if you were hiring a contractor or something.
Right, you'd have a contract that lays out expectations.
Exactly. And that's what he's proposing for healthcare.
So what's the problem he's trying to solve with this?
So the fundamental question he's addressing is, how can we help patients take control of their care?
So it all ties back into this idea of patient agency and ownership,
Absolutely.
which he actually connects to some pretty interesting theoretical idea.
Oh, yeah, he mentions agency and ownership.
Makes sense in this context.
Yeah, and he also brings up this idea called the dromedary hook.
Which I'm not familiar with.
So that's the Cartman-Drama triangle.
Okay.
And it basically helps understand how we can sometimes get stuck in these negative roles in our interactions.
Okay.
And he thinks that patients can actively work to avoid that with their providers.
Interesting.
He also mentions Michel Foucault,
Okay.
who did a lot of work on power dynamics in society.
Makes sense.
And then complexity theory,
Right.
which looks at how, all these different parts interact.
To create a whole.
Exactly.
Right. So we're not going to go super deep into all of that.
No, but it gives you a sense of the background.
Yeah, kind of where he's coming from.
Yeah.
It's interesting how he takes these big ideas
Right.
and makes them into something tangible.
Yeah, so the GAI would essentially be a document
Okay.
that you as the patient would give to your provider
Right at the beginning.
right at the beginning.
So basically you're saying, here's how I want to do things.
Exactly. You're outlining your expectations for how your care should be delivered.
Okay, so this GAI.
Yeah.
What would it actually look like?
So there are several key areas he outlines.
Okay.
Transparency is a big one.
Okay.
You should have clarity on costs, waiting times for appointments or procedures,
Right.
all the available treatment options.
All of that stuff that sometimes gets hidden.
Exactly. You deserve to know that up front.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, what else?
Accessibility is another crucial element.
Meaning I can actually get the services I need.
Exactly when and where you need them.
Okay.
Response time is another one.
So how quickly you can expect to hear back.
Exactly from your healthcare team.
Gotcha.
And then there are the fundamental principles
Yeah,
of consent and autonomy.
right. You're in charge of your own body.
Absolutely. Your choices should be respected.
For sure.
And of course, the security of your privacy and data.
Right, like I should be able to access my own health records.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Those all seem pretty fundamental.
Yeah, you would think so.
But making them explicit is interesting.
Right, because sometimes those things get overlooked.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or there can be miscommunications.
So what about the providers themselves?
Yeah.
What are they expected to do under these GAI? So the document outlines several expectations for their conduct and the quality of care.
Okay.
Clear communication is paramount.
Meaning?
No confusing medical jargon.
Right.
No rushed explanations.
Right. I need to be able to understand what's happening.
Right, absolutely.
Okay.
Respectful treatment should be a given.
Yeah, of course.
Velde also stresses the importance of consultations that aren't rushed.
Okay.
So you have enough time to discuss your concerns.
Ask questions.
Exactly.
Okay.
He also highlights the need for care to be based on the best available evidence.
Okay, so like evidence-based medicine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or if the provider is considering a different approach,
Well, I need to explain why.
they need to be transparent about it.
Okay.
An integral approach is also important,
Meaning
looking at your health holistically.
not just focusing on one symptom.
Exactly.
Right.
And then actively supporting you in managing your own health.
So it's more of a team effort.
Yeah, a collaboration.
Okay, so he even mentions these Stemmings variabilins,
Yeah. Yeah.
which are adjustment variables.
Yes. So these are the areas where your individual preferences
Okay.
would shape your care.
So give me some examples.
So for physical health, this might be your preference regarding medication.
Okay. Do I want to take it or not?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
For mental health support,
Yeah.
it could be choosing between medication and or therapy,
Okay.
indicating your preferred session length,
Right.
or whether you find structured sessions or more open conversations helpful
Okay.
for chronic conditions.
Mhm.
It could define how control over your treatment is shared.
Between you and your provider.
Exactly.
Interesting.
And whether follow-up appointments are digital or in person.
Wow. So you really have a lot of control.
Yeah, the goal is to focus on your quality of life.
Okay, so now this sounds like a lot more work for the doctors.
Yeah.
What does Velde say about that?
So he argues that while there might be an initial adjustment,
Okay.
it could actually lead to greater efficiency for GPs in the long run. One key benefit is reduced miscommunication.
Because everything's laid out clearly.
Exactly.
Right.
Consultations could become more focused and efficient.
Because the doctor knows exactly what I want.
Exactly.
Okay.
It could also streamline how GPs handle patients who've done their research online.
The internet-informed patients.
Exactly. And ultimately, the goal is to minimize frustration on both sides.
From unmet expectations.
Exactly.
Right, and also better record keeping.
Yes, because everything is documented.
Okay, but the reality is a lot of GPs are already super busy.
Yeah, he addresses this counter-argument.
Okay,
Husarts is also druk.
which means,
GPs are already so busy.
Okay, so how does he respond to that?
He reiterates the idea that in the long term, clearer communication will save time.
Okay.
He suggests that better triage informed by your GAI could lead to fewer unnecessary appointments.
So less wasted time.
Exactly.
Wow.
And he also points out that having a clearer understanding of your research and expectations can lead to more productive consultations.
Okay.
But his most compelling point, I think, is this.
Okay.
Let up. Straks praat je als professional met patiënten, cliënten, en hun AI-assistant is er altijd bij je.
Which translates to?
Note, soon you will be talking as a professional with patients, clients, and their AI assistant will always be present.
Wow. So he's saying AI is going to change everything.
Absolutely.
So we need to be ready for that.
Exactly.
Okay, so for me, the listener,
Yeah.
what are the benefits of this GAI?
So the potential benefits for you are substantial.
Okay.
Having more control over your healthcare can lead to better health outcomes
Okay.
and a stronger sense of agency in your own life.
So I feel more in control.
Exactly. It promotes a more equal partnership with your provider.
So it's not me versus them.
Exactly. You're both working together.
Okay.
Your care becomes more tailored to your specific needs.
Which is what everyone wants, right?
Absolutely. And ultimately, Van de Velde's vision offers you a healthcare experience where you're not just a passive recipient.
But I'm an active participant.
Exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah.
to sum up,
Yeah.
what does it actually mean to be an owner in this model?
He boils it down to a few key attributes.
Okay.
Approaching the relationship with a sense of equality.
Okay.
Feeling a genuine sense of control.
Mhm.
Understanding yourself as the client.
The one commissioning the services.
Exactly.
Right.
Taking responsibility for your own health.
And respecting the expertise of the
Yeah,
provider.
Exactly.
It's a partnership.
Not a dictatorship.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is a great vision.
Yeah.
But how would it actually be implemented?
So Van de Velde proposes this idea of a GAI app.
A GAI app.
Okay.
As a way to bring this to life.
So this app would help me create my GAI.
Exactly.
Okay.
He envisions it having two core components.
Okay.
Ja, persoonlijke profile.
Your personal profile.
Yes, where you'd store your medical history and preferences. And jouw algemeen voorwaarden.
My general terms and conditions.
Exactly where you define your expectations for your care.
So it sounds like this app
Yeah.
would not just be a place to store information,
No.
but it would actually help me understand things better.
Exactly. It would educate you.
Why?
Increase your awareness of your rights.
Okay.
And help you prepare for appointments. It could provide information about your rights as a patient,
Right.
explain the evidence behind different treatments.
So I can make informed decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And clarify the areas where you can realistically influence your care.
Versus where the doctor's expertise is needed.
Exactly.
Right.
And crucially, it could also help you get ready for consultations
Like how?
by helping you formulate questions beforehand.
That's a great idea because I always forget what I want to ask.
Yeah, it happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
And he even suggests that this could be done with AI assistants.
Wow. So AI could help me prepare for my doctor's appointment. That's amazing. Okay, so it's not all sunshine and roses though, right?
Right. He does include a quote from a practicing GP
Okay.
that brings in a bit of skepticism.
What did this GP say?
So the quote is, Ik ben wel wat sceptisch over het eigenaarschap van de zorgconsument. Ik werk nu in een achterstandswijk en het overgrote deel van de patiënten daar heeft echt geen vaardigheden om hier aan deel te kunnen nemen.
Which translates to?
I am quite skeptical about the ownership of the healthcare consumer. I currently work in a disadvantaged neighborhood, and the vast majority of patients there really don't have the skills to participate in this.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
Because it's highlighting that not everyone has equal access or
Exactly.
the same level of health literacy.
Yeah, and it's something that needs to be addressed
Absolutely.
because this system needs to work for everyone.
Right. If it's only going to benefit people who are already well off,
Exactly.
then it's not really solving the problem.
It could even exacerbate existing inequalities.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so then Van de Velde presents a statement for us to consider.
Yeah, a stelling, which is a proposition.
Okay, what does he say?
De patient die zichzelf als eigenaar ziet, heeft een gelijkwaardige attitude, ervaart controle over zijn leven, voelt zich als opdrachtgever verantwoordelijk en heeft respect voor de expertise van de leverancier.
Which translates to?
The patient who sees themselves as the owner has an equal attitude, experiences control over their life, feels responsible as the client, and respects the expertise of the supplier.
So he's basically saying that being an owner doesn't mean you disrespect the doctor.
Exactly. It's about a partnership based on mutual respect
Okay, I see.
and shared goals.
Okay, and finally, the document touches on the legal side of things.
Yeah, he references BW Book 7.5,
Yeah.
a section of the Dutch Civil Code that outlines the agreement for medical treatment.
Okay, so basically there are already laws in place
Yes,
that protect patients' rights to some extent.
exactly.
Okay, so what are the key takeaways from that?
So your doctor has a responsibility to explain your condition and treatment options clearly in a way you can understand.
Okay.
And they also have to consult with you about the nature and purpose of any examinations or treatments,
Yeah.
the potential consequences and risks,
Right.
and any other possible treatment alternatives.
So I'm not just in the dark.
Exactly. You have the right to be informed,
Okay.
and they also have to take your needs into account and invite you to ask questions.
So this is all stuff that's already in place.
Yeah.
But Van de Velde's GAI kind of takes it a step further.
It formalizes it.
Right, it makes it much more explicit.
Exactly.
Okay, so to wrap this all up,
Yeah.
we've been talking about Hans van de Velde's vision
Yes,
of the healthcare consumer as the owner of their care.
absolutely.
And he sees this GAI as a potential tool to make that happen.
Exactly.
And potentially a GAI app as well,
Right.
to make it all easier.
Yes.
And the potential benefits are huge,
Yeah.
both for patients
More control there.
and for providers.
Yeah.
Less miscommunication, fewer unrealistic expectations.
But as we talked about, there are also challenges.
Yes,
Especially when it comes to equity and making sure everyone has access.
absolutely.
So this brings us to a final thought for you, the listener.
Okay.
How do you think AI is going to change all of this?
Yeah, because Van de Velde mentions that AI assistants are going to become more prevalent.
Right. So how is that going to impact this whole idea of patient ownership?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Could AI be a tool that empowers you even more?
That's a great question.
Yeah, it's something to think about as we move into the future of healthcare.
Absolutely. All right, that's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
We'll see you next time. See you later.
Bye.